Hello and welcome back to the channel. Got a couple of updates on the Volvo XC60. We've got a bit of progress on the boot. I'll take you through that. But also we have a problem. We have an engine management light. So let's dive in, figure out how we diagnose that and what we're going to do. So driving the other day and this is what popped up. We've got the engine management light. So this is different to the warning lights that come in down the bottom there. These cars have got quite a few different warning lights, and so this is the engine management. Now I can't bring up, if I click on OK, there's no vehicle messages, there's nothing stored or can be displayed, so we need to get our code reader out, plug in and take a look. I was curious about this as to whether it would read using one of the cheaper obd-II, using an Android app and things like that, or whether my Autel scanner would work, or what would work with it. So I'm going to give those a go and we'll give it a try, and you can come along and see which ones work the best. This is the first one I thought I would try. It's one of the cheap obd-II Bluetooth adapters that you can buy off eBay fairly cheaply. Now I do have Talk Pro that runs on my Android phone. You can get a few different ones, so it just whichever one, you can get trials and things like that. What I'll do is I'll plug that into the port, which is just down here. Now it's upside down, and it goes in the wrong way up. It's a little bit tricky to find actually, especially holding the camera. There we go. In we go. And I can see off the reflection I do have power to it. Let's get the app running. By the way, I've also pressed and held the start stop button. That seems to boot the car up into this kind of halfway house, full ignition on, but not engine running. And we'll see if we can talk to it. Let's boot up, talk on the app. Let's see, adapter status. So it's found it on Bluetooth. There's a reflection there. There you go. Connected to the adapter, yes. Connected to the ECU. Oh, hang on. There we go. It's managed to connect to the ECU. I'm going to say here, I didn't actually get this to work the first time I did it, so I honestly didn't think this was going to work. That's just typical. It's now worked and connected. If we have a look, oh, it is. It's getting coolant temperature, revs at 0, throttle position 89. Well, that's not correct because, as you can hear, engine's not running, but it's connected to the ECU. Let's see whether we can pull fault codes off it. Remember, this is just the cheapo adapter. I'm not being too hopeful here. Oh, straight away we have a P1407. Looks like the app here is coming up with a generic powertrain fault, and it doesn't really understand what it is. So I guess that means it's a Volvo specific code that the app doesn't know. But the good news is that means that this app can read it. So if nothing else, if you do end up with an engine light on one of these Volvos, you can pull the codes with a cheapo adapter. Now whether it'll clear it or not, I'm not sure, but what I want to do is I want to use my other tester first before we continue any further. There we go. So it's confirmed. One fault found, P1407. That's great. Let's go and get the proper tester, and let's see what we get. Let's turn the ignition off and take the adapter out, and let's see what we can find next. Here we are with tester number 2. So this is an Autel Maxiscan. I know a lot of people won't have access to these kind of scanners. I'm quite lucky. I was gifted this unit a good few years ago from a very nice Chrysler fella that used to help me out. Now, one thing to note, by the way, is the car won't talk, or you can't talk to the ECU in the basic ignition mode. So if I just press the start stop briefly, so the radio comes on and the dash lights up, it won't talk to the scanner. I made that mistake first time. So do the press and hold, and there it says depress brake. That's the state that we want to be in. That seems to be your full ignition state that will allow the ECU to wake up and for us to be able to test with our diagnostics. Let's just turn that down. Right, so let's do the same again. Let's run our scan. Okay, immediately we found the engine light on. We're now asking which control mod do we have Volvo in the list. Yes, we do. Let's choose that and let's take a look. P1407 EGR temperature sensor, signal too low, and that's specific to Volvo, so that's interesting. That would suggest that we do have a sensor fault going on. Now, I know from earlier that this unit cleared the codes and took the engine light off, so I'm going to go in and erase the codes, and hopefully there it goes, engine light out. Now obviously this isn't fixing the fault. All this is doing is clearing the codes for now, and this has already come back once, and my plan is I'm actually taking it into the Volvo dealership. Now I know that's an unusual thing to hear on the channel, but I've not had the car that long. I would like a Volvo expert to look it over, make sure that there's nothing major. I'm also going to get them to do a service as well. Included in the service, they should also plug it in and apply any software updates that are needed as well, which I'd like for peace of mind, because we want to keep this car running, we want to keep it going good. I've also asked them to do a diagnostics on it as well and find out. Now, it's not going to be cheap. I'll obviously do a follow-up video once it's been in and everything that we find, and see how we go from there. But at least the light's off for now and I can drive it, and I know that now that I know what the code is, I'm not as concerned that it will be causing damage. Yes, it may be causing higher or lower running temperatures and a bit more soot to be building up, but I know that it's not a critical fault, which is the key. That's the point I'm trying to make about these OBD scanners and what you use them for. To me, the main point behind it is you want to check out what the fault is. If it's critical, do not drive. If it's something you don't understand, do not drive. That's my point, and that's why I'm using these scanners, even though I've got it booked in for a proper checkup. I now know I'm happy driving it this week, doing a few miles. I'm not doing loads of miles, and we can then see what happens from there. So the other update is on the hydraulic boot, on the electric hydraulic boot that you saw in one of the previous videos. I'll put a link down the bottom so you can have a look. I replaced one of the boot struts, and you saw that although the boot didn't droop at the top level, it was a bit of a pain. It wasn't really opening and closing very happily. So let's go around the back. I'll show you what I've done, and I'll show you where it's at right now. Let's go around the back and I'll show you what happens. So we'll press the boot button, and that's as far as it goes. However, if I now use very little force, you see that it's actually opening. And what did I do to get this far? I replaced that lift. Now I used the same brand, the same sort of clone aftermarket version of the strut that I replaced on the right hand side. So they're both matching now. They've both got similar characteristics, motors, manufacturer, all of that kind of thing. Connected them up, did exactly that. Now I did notice somebody in the comments last time did say make sure you haven't pinched any sensors around. Now this one doesn't actually have pinch or touch sensors. What it does is it uses feedback from the motors to determine if there's an obstruction and will then stop or revert. So I know that it's not that anything's pinched. Now if I try and close it on the button, and it stops. Second time it stops again. Third time it stops. It's normally 3 or 4 times, and then it seems to be when it gets to a certain height, it'll then work and close. So it's like it's not detecting its sensors correctly, or it's not recognizing the feedback. So it's doing a couple of emergency stops. That's effectively why it's stopping the first couple of times and then continuing happy. So what I can do about that, I'm not sure. From what I can see, there is a software patch from Volvo that solves that. There is an update to the ECU that controls that. Maybe that'll get sorted when we go in for our service. I don't know. Honestly, we'll see what it's like. It's not that bad. It's a bit of a pain because when it's pouring down with rain, you really don't want to keep having to click and wait for the boot to close. But I'll tell you what, it's better than it dropping on your head because it's a heavy old boot. So we'll see how that goes when it goes in and gets its service. But you can see it's not that bad. It's actually usable, and if you don't put the boot too high, it seems to all be to do with height. If you don't put it too high, it will close without doing the emergency stop. So we'll give it a try. Well, I think that's about it for this video. What I'll do is obviously I'll do a follow-up video once it's been to the dealership and we see what they say about it. Now, I don't really go to dealerships. I haven't used them for a lot of years. It must be almost 20 years since I had my BMW Z3. That used to go to a dealership for its services and all of its work. But since then I've tended to do it all myself, so it'll be interesting to see how much it costs, what service we get from them and all of that. So there will be a follow-up video on that coming up very soon, so please do make sure you're subscribed down the bottom. Do pop a comment, let me know what you think, anything about the video or any of the other videos. I'd love to hear from you, and again, thank you so much for watching.